Thinking about buying property in Italy, but don't want to spend a fortune in Florence or Venice? What if I told you there are magical towns with ancient history, stunning architecture, and rich cultural heritage that most tourists completely overlook? Welcome to southern Italy, where hidden gems in Apulia and Calabria are quietly waiting for smart buyers and curious travelers. Let's take a little trip to some of the most underrated Italian towns with less than 20,000 people. These aren't just pretty villages. They've got deep historical roots, signs of revival, and real potential for long-term investment. First up, Locorotondo, Apulia. This town's name literally means round place because, surprise, it's round. Nestled in the Valle d'Itria, Locorotondo is a picture-perfect whitewashed town that seems too charming to be real. While tourists flock to nearby Alberobello for the famous Trulli houses, Locorotondo offers the same southern magic with less crowding and more authenticity. It's known for its slow rhythms, great wine, and the Locust Music Festival that attracts visitors from across Europe. And here's the kicker. Real estate is still relatively affordable, especially compared to Tuscany. Plus, it's close to two airports. A smart move? We think so. Next, Prešec, also in Apulia. A town so pretty, the government actually offered people money to move there. Not kidding. In 2022, authorities launched a scheme to give newcomers up to 30,000 euros if they buy and renovate a home in the historic center. Why? Because Prešec is packed with Baroque architecture, sunny courtyards, and the ghosts of wealthy olive oil merchants from the 18th century. Now it's being rediscovered by digital nomads and retirees looking for a quiet but meaningful life. Some call it the City of Green Gold, not for Bitcoin, but for its legendary olive oil. As far as property investments go, it's pretty delicious. Now let's talk about Specchia. This is one of those places where time forgot to move on. With only around 5,000 residents, it's like stepping into a medieval postcard. The locals restored many of the ancient homes and even created a scattered hotel where rooms are spread across multiple historic buildings. It's cozy, authentic, and a hit with eco-tourists and history buffs. Specchia doesn't have a beach, but it has heart. It's stone. Lots of beautiful stone. All right, time to head north to Bovino. Sitting in the mountains of northern Apulia, Bovino has castles, cobblestone streets, and enough legends to fill a Game of Thrones episode. It's in a green, hilly area that's perfect for hiking, cheese tasting, and pretending you're a medieval duke. Tourists haven't quite found it yet, which means opportunity. Moving on to Calabria, starting with Tropea. Known as the jewel of the Tyrrhenian Sea, this cliffside town has it all. Sun, sea, white beaches, and a church perched dramatically on a rock. In 2021, Tropea was crowned Italy's most beautiful borgo. Since then, it's become a hotspot for Italian and international visitors. Real estate is climbing, but it's still a bargain compared to northern Italy. Good food, great views, and probably the only place you'll hear locals argue whether the onion or the sunset is more beautiful. Next up, Pisa. This town has two claims to fame. A king was executed here, and they invented a delicious ice cream called tartufo. That's history and dessert in one stop. Piso's historic center is lively, walkable, and full of gelato shops, piazzas, and seaside charm. It's close to the airport in La Mezzia Terme, making it super convenient. And yes, property prices are going up, but many buyers think it's still the best-kept secret on the coast. Now let's venture into the hills again, to Jerez. Jerez is basically Calabria's open-air museum. It has more churches than most towns have cafes. The Norman Cathedral here is massive, and the views stretch from the mountains to the sea. It's not easy to get to. You'll need a car and maybe a bit of courage on those winding roads, but for those who make the journey, it's worth every bump. Finally, Badolato. This place was nearly abandoned. Empty houses, crumbling walls, and a view to die for. But instead of fading away, Bottolato made a comeback. Artists, digital nomads, and curious expats started moving in, restoring old homes, and creating a quirky, multicultural village. It's even been featured in documentaries. If you want to say I bought a house in an Italian village before it was cool, this is your chance. So there you have it. 8 towns, rich in history and full of character. These aren't just places to visit. They're places to live, invest, and maybe even fall in love with. Forget the crowded piazzas of Rome. Your future villa might just be in a sleepy southern town with a story to tell, a vineyard next door, and a grandmother who insists you try her pasta. Thanks for watching, and who knows, maybe we'll bump into each other in a cobbled alley of Apulia or Calabria. And today's question is, which Italian city do you think is underrated and why?